Hello everyone. So I'm Naresh Kumar. So today we will learn how we are going to create the Spring Boot application with the help of a Spring Initializer. And we are going to create the Spring Boot application and we will integrate with the backend MySQL server. And then we will create the Docker image and we will deploy the Docker Compose file. And in the later video, we are also going to deploy in the cloud in the AWS using the ECS cluster. We will also create the load balancer and discovery services, and we will also use the different type of deployment, rolling deployment, blue-green deployment, and all these things. Seeing all these things, we will go to the coding part and all. So first let's discuss how means which type of tool and software we needed. So first thing we needed the this IntelliJ. If you don't have IntelliJ, then you can go to the Google and directly download the IntelliJ. And you need the community person because community is free and you can directly use. Even the STS is fine or IntelliJ is fine, but if you have IntelliJ, then it's better. Okay, and then you need the Java and JDK. So JDK at least 11 you need, or if the 17 is there, then it's fine. So you can also verify which version you have. So you can go to the command prompt and type JDK Java -f version. You will see I have 17 version, but for today demo, we are going to use the JDK 11 or Java 11. Okay, so that's fine. Let's go into the Spring initializer and create the project. So we will go there, Spring initializer. We will go there in the first link and we will create the project. So the project will be Maven. We will be using the Spring latest version, but later part we will downgrade it because this version need the, you can see here for 3.22 Java 17 is needed. Okay, and if you guys didn't have Java 17, then this will not work. So we will downgrade it to some 2.5 or something like that, and then it will work for the Java 11 as well. So now for the group ID, we will write com.web.developer. Okay, all will be small. Okay, now it's a student demo. So we will create this one web application that will handle all the CRUD operation related to the student database. Okay, so now it's fine. I think demo project. Okay, and then package name also we are going to modify it. Now we will put the dependency. So first one the Lombok, then we will add the web dependency web. So web reactive web will be fine because both are fine, but we will use the reactive web. Actually, in the later video, if we have to integrate the two microservices, then we can use the REST client. Okay, and REST client will not be supported if we are not using the reactive web. So now we also have to use the MySQL driver. Okay, MySQL driver we are not going to use MySQL driver. We will use the external one, but right now we use the JPA. Okay, and then we can explode it. Everything is fine. Okay, now we will download it. Once downloaded, we will go there and we will extract it. Extract all, and we will extract it. Where the extraction goes, downloaded, extracted. Okay, now we will go to there and we will import into IntelliJ. It's not extracted, I think. It's already zip file. Extract all, and we are going to extract it. Replace all. Oh, extracted. We are checking there. That's fine. Now we will go to there and we will open the IntelliJ. Now we'll go to the IntelliJ and trusted project, new window. Okay. We'll also see all the dependency what we have installed. So let us change few things. So for Java 17, we will change it to Java 11 because right now for the 3.22 we are not seeing the Java 11. So we can also change the this version, Spring Boot version 2.54. So we have 2.54. Otherwise, it will not run for in the Java 11 environment. Now I've changed. I also need to add the one more dependency, that is the MySQL driver. MySQL dependency for Spring Boot. We'll go for this MySQL connector, and we will check for the latest one, this one, and we will copy this thing and paste it. Because whatever the Spring initializer provided, there is the J connector, and J connector will only work with the Java 17. That's why I'm not putting that one. And right now we will go to the web plugs, down, where is that one? JP. After JP, we will provide it. Okay, let's run all this thing. And meanwhile, we also need MySQL. Okay, so for MySQL server, we are going to use the Docker. Okay, so if you guys have the Docker, then it's fine. Docker is fine. If you guys don't have Docker, then you can go to the browser and download the Docker. So in the browser, you can download Docker for Windows, and then go to the first link, install Docker for Windows, and from there you can go there and Docker desktop for Windows. Okay, and you can click there and you can download it. After downloading, we all will be in the same page. Okay. Okay, now you guys, I think you already have downloaded the Docker desktop. So let's go with the code and write the code and play. Before doing all this thing, we need to run the Docker container for the MySQL. Okay, so for running the Docker container for MySQL, first we need to write the Docker compose file. Okay, so we are going to create the Docker compose file, and the same compose file we will use for the deploying our application as well. So we are going to create one YAML file. So its name should be docker compose.yaml. Okay, and for saving some time, we have already written that code. We are going to explain all these things. So first line is version. So version we are saying that we are using 3.8 version of Docker Compose file. Then we are writing all the services. So if there are more than one services, we are writing in the services tag. So inside the services, we are giving the name of the services. So this services name is MySQL. And inside the MySQL services, we are giving the image name. So image name is MySQL and tag. So tag is 8.0. If we are not specifying any tag, then it will by default take the latest tag. Then we also have to create the volume. So we are creating a volume, MySQL volume, and then we are giving the directory name. So if we are not going to provide any volume, then we will not be able to access this MySQL DB using the admin credential. That's why we are providing their volume. Then we are mapping the port. So using 3306 port, we are able to access this MySQL. Then we are also providing the network. So whatever the running, all means if there is a more than one container or even single container, all the container are running inside the network. So if there is a more than one container, then all container is able to communicate over the same network. If there is a two container and both are running on the different network, then they are not able to communicate. So we have to define a network. Even though we are not defining any network, then this will run on the default network. Now we are also providing the password. So it's MySQL root password, and the password is root. So that's fine. Now we will run it and we will see it. So let's run a terminal and we will write ls. Okay, docker compose docker compose minus f. We have to write minus f and file name, and then we will write up and we will write okay. For now it's all fine. It's created, but it might not already port is okay. Docker ps. Oh, I think one container is already running. So let's stop this container and then starting. So docker we will write kill, that is e0. So we will write e0 and it will kill the docker container. Now again, if I run the docker compose command, it will running. Okay, it's started. Now let's start in the detach mode. So I will write d and will start in the detach mode. So it will not means my terminal is free now. So docker ps. It's not running. Why? Docker ps. It's not run. Maybe something's broken. Let's just start with. We cannot give 3 times more, but let's just start it. We can see. Okay. Aborting shutdown completed. Failed DBS stage engine. Something is broken. So look like data has been corrupted inside the MySQL volume. So let me change the MySQL volume name, this folder name. So I was using this folder for a long time. So maybe the data has been corrupted. So I will change this volume name to hyphen. And now let's run this one. Up. Okay, now it's started. And if I started, then we will also go to the workbench and we will check. So we will validate there by removing this one, whether everything is working fine or not. So we'll go local. Okay, we'll create one DB as well. Sorry, and oh, okay, because drop equation create database we are going to create. If we are able to create, then it's, yeah. So now we are able to establish the connection to DB. Now let's write some configuration here as well. So we have run there. Okay. So now this one is fine. We are going to remove this one. This one is also fine. We don't have to write anything there. Now let's just start with there. And first we will go to the YAML, means resource folder. And we'll create one application.yaml. Application.yml. So like first we will write the server.port and the port will write 8000 80 will write. Okay, it's fine. Application name will write student microservice. Okay, microservice and save it. Then we have to write about this thing, the Spring data source. Then write URL, username. So username root, password we don't need. Then URL, Mongo URL data source, JPA, then hyphenate, DDL. So we'll write create. Update is fine. And we also need to write URL. So URL, and then we will write jdbc mysql, and after that slash localhost 3306 slash, then we will write the database name. So we'll write anything like test, and we will also say create database if not exist equal to true. Okay. So that will what they will do. If the test database is not there, they are going to create it. And then hibernate will also write property and dialect property. Okay. So dialect property we don't need to set it right now, but yeah, we need to set it dialect property as well. So now this one is fine. I don't think we need to set anything extra, but root username and password we don't need to set. We need to set it. Password we also need to set the root. Now let's just first run this application and let's see what is happening. So once the application is started, we will back. Okay, so you can see it. It's started, and we are talking about the dialects, but dialect it always selected here. But still, we wanna set this dialect. Otherwise, it will cause in some issue when we will run Docker container. So write property, and here we will write hibernate HIBERNATE dialect, and we will write here this whole thing. So hibernate dialect we are now again we will run and it will run fine. Even though it was running fine, but we wanna set this dialect so that it will not cause an issue when we will run the Docker container. Okay, now it's started. Let's start the development. First, we will create the model, then repository, and next service, and then controller. So first, we will create the package. So model, then we'll create repository. So array for repo service, and the last one is the controller. Controller. Now start from model. So we'll create a student class, and we will annotate it with the @entity. So whenever we are annotating with @entity, it will act as entity, and if we have already defined the hibernate DDL property as a create, so it will automatically create the student database, a student table in the test database. Now we have to define the column as well. So private, first I will int an ID, okay, and then we will define the name, private string name, private string is we are going to define, and then private string, not is not a string but it should be an int. Then we are going to define the one last thing is the gender string, the gender, okay. And then we are also going to get the data, so we are able to get and set we all get. Then builder even not needed, I think. Builder we don't need, so no our constructor, all our constructor we have created. Now what we are going to do, everything is fine from there. Now we also have to provide the at least one ID, so it's ID annotation, and we are also going to create ID as auto generated, so generated value strategy generation, and it's auto, so automatically it's going to generate the ID. Now it's fine. Now we'll go in the repo, and inside the repo we will create one interface, so it's not a class. Okay, so first we'll create the class, then we will change it to interface. So your interface is here, so we'll like student repo, and this will extend JPA repository. We will write a student, we will write the integer, okay. We just have to connect to the repository. Now we will go to the service, select the service, and write the student service. And we will annotate it with the service. We can also put the logger and all this thing, but logger we are not interested to put in the logger and all. And we also have to create one bean, or we can say object autovar. Using the autovar dependency, we are creating the object of the repository. So private student repo, it's a repo, and then we will go to the controller itself. So controller we are writing inside the controller, the student controller. It's controller, and we'll write the rate controller annotation, rest controller. Okay. So now we will check all these things. So right now whether it request mapping, I will write here means we will write student, student, student. So every request must start with a student, then we'll write this to this controller. Now public public string, and then first one we will write for health. So it will return what is the health of this one. So it's a get mapping and should be start with health, and we will return health. Application is running. Okay, double N-I-N-G. Okay, this application is running, so it will be simple. Now we have to write first one the post map and without any argument. So whenever we are hitting student slash student, then if the post call is, then it will hit this, and we are writing public. And for now we are not sure, but we are sure it should be a student. Student return the student object, and what is the name? So we'll say save a student, and we will request body. It's a student object, student. Let's just add the rate request a student, and then we are returning here. So what should be a return? So we are returning responsibility dot status. So a status we are returning as a status. A status dot created, http status dot created, and then dot body. We are sending service. So first we have to create one service object, auto private student service. So it's a student service and its name is service, and there we are returning a service dot save, and we are returning we are sending a student. As of now this save method does not exist, but we are going to create it soon. Okay, so now this is the get mapping, and again we are going to create one post map. For now we are just going to create this method as well. Okay, so student service, here we are going to create a method in public, and we will return student, and we will return a student, and the method name is save student, and returning a repo dot save a student. We'll write a student. So it's fine now. Now we'll go there and we will change it. We have to write here return. Okay, and then the return method will automatically change responsibility. Make it. So now this method will change. Now we have to write two extra method for there. So first one is save, then again public and a student, and we can also find by id. That is also will take one id, so it should be integer id. It's not ip, it's id, and then it will return id. It should be optional. Okay, not a problem. So find while id dot get we can write, so it will return. So even though we are not writing a complex logic, but this service class is there. If we have to do any validation and all this thing, then we are going to do all the validation in the service class, and then we are returning it to controller. So all the validation logic should be there. So we can write here validation. validation. All the validations will be there. Okay. Now this one is for finding. Now we will also find all the student list in one list of a student. Then we can say find all, and we don't have to pass anything, but it will return repo dot find all. Okay, it will return all. For now, we are writing just 3. We will check for all this thing. So here also, so one is the post mapping, and then we are also writing the get mapping. Get mapping public. For now, we are writing void, and then find all a student, and then it will return uh, response entity dot status. Okay, status we can say okay, and body we can write service dot find out. Okay, now it will automatically change the return type. Just we will click there and find make the return type. Okay, so return type will be list of a student, means response entity of list of a student. Now one more method we have to write, get mapping, and here we are passing as a path variable. So path variable, we are passing id as a path, id inside the path. So we'll write id here, and then public, we'll write response entity, or we will write void. It will automatically going to override. And find a student by id, and here we will write path variable, path variable, and I will write integer id. The name should be matching here, whatever the id here and this id name should be matched, otherwise it will give error. Return, and we will write the response entity dot okay, and inside the body we will write service dot find by id, and we'll find the id. Okay, and we will change the return type as well. Now it's fine, everything is fine. So now we can run it, and we can validate it. So let's check, is there any issue or something like that? Okay, it's running. Let's also validate with the database is created or not. Yeah, we can see database has been created, but table is also created, student table, column, and all this thing. Let's validate by running all the endpoint. So first we will write the, it's 8008080 name, and all this thing is fine, I think. Okay, so we'll just hit this one. Sorry, not get it, should be post. Yeah, it's added, and let's add my name. This should be anything, we can write like 25, and we will mail, hit enter. Okay, it's adding. If I will change it to the gate, then will it work? Obviously it's working. Let's check for id1. So if we are giving id1 or 2, so I'm giving id1, what will happen? Yeah, it's giving. So everything is fine. Now let's build the Docker image and deploy it. All this thing inside the using Docker compose file in the Docker container. Okay. So Docker container, we can say it's one of the technology where we don't have to worry about all this dependency. We are packaging all the dependency in the image, and we are directly going to deploy in the Docker container. And we don't have to worry about where we are deploying, whether we are deploying the Linux environment, Windows environment, or Mac environment. So it's the simplest way to deploy all this thing. And even when we will deploy all this thing in the cloud, then this Docker will help. to deploy all this thing in the cloud, because when we will deploy in the cloud, we have to deploy all this as a Docker container. That's why right now we are going to create one Docker file, okay, to create the Docker container like a Docker image, and then we are going to deploy into the Docker container. So we will create one file, Docker file, Docker file without an extension, and we will write, and we are writing it. So the first line is from Docker from alpine-jre, openjdk, alpine-jre. So it's an image. So we are customizing this Java JDK 11 base image, and then we are writing one argument. This argument is nothing but a file location where our jar file is. So we all know that jar file inside the target directories. Right now there is no jar file because we have not yet run the build. So once the build will run, then there will be jar file created, and we are copying all this jar file into the app.jar file. Okay, so simply we are renaming it, and we know that when we have to run the jar file, then we have to provide the command like java-jar and then jar name. So when we are writing the command here, then we have to write all the command in the array format. So we are doing all this thing. Now let's run all this thing. So first build it. So for building, okay, we have to close it, and we have to run as a task mode. Docker ps. Okay, it's running. So Maven clean install. Let's build it. Yeah, so it's doing, yeah, its build is completed. Now build commit, then we can create the docker image. So docker build hyphen t, and then we can give the tag name. So when we are giving the tag name, then we have to give the tag name like, first you have to give the account name, Docker account name. So it's an array is 546 for my cases. You can also check in the Docker Hub what is your account name, and if you don't have an account in the Docker Hub, then just go through and create an account in Docker Hub. Then we have to give the image name. So we can give the any image name. For now, we are giving the image name like Spring Boot, or we can just give a student demo. It's fine. And then we have to give the tag name. So tag name anything we can give, but we for now we are giving dev because we are going to consider the deployment in the Docker container as a dev environment. So dev, that is fine. And we have to give the dot. So we are going to whatever the file is there in the current directories, we are going to build it. And valid name. Repository must be lower cases. Okay. So we cannot give here D capital. So we have to give D small. So while building, we will go to there, and we can also modify our Docker compose file. It's build. It's too fast. Okay, let's build. It's too fast. Now we will go to the build our Docker compose file. So we will go to the Docker compose file, and one is already there. Now we can create the another services, and we can write the service name like student service. Okay, and we can image them. We can also give the container name. Container name as students. Then we will provide the image name, and image name is arrays 546 slash, and we don't want to make any mistakes, so I'm going to copy it. Where is the name? This one. And first time it's mistake, so this one. Because if any spelling mistake is happened, then it will be wrong. I don't want to make any mistake, and I'm just copying it. So paste it there. The image name is fine. Now we have to give the ports. So port will be we can give any port, but right now 8080 is fine. 80. Okay, then we have to give the dependency as well. So it depends on which MySQL. Then we have to also apply the network. A network is already given. We have a network that is the Spring network Spring. And then anything else we need to provide? We don't have to provide, or we have to provide. Yes, one thing we have to provide. If we have checked there, again we have to build the image because this one. So we have given the URL, this localhost, and this localhost is only understandable with local. When we are running in the Docker container, this localhost will not be understood, and this localhost we have to replace it with the container name. So either we can change here, or we can do one thing. So we can just copy Spring data source URL, and we can change it there. So we are going to copy this, and we will go there where inside the Docker Compose, and we will write the environment variable. And inside the environment, we can write Spring data source URL, and we will write here this one. And in place of this one, we have to give the MySQL. So this MySQL, we have to remove this localhost, and we will provide MySQL. Let's check what's happening. Write this one, and we will hit it. Okay. It's telling that 8,000 is already running. That's why it's not able to run. So let's stop the 8,000 host, 8,000 port, and then again run it. It's creating, and profile is not selected because profile is okay. So profile also I have to provide a Spring profiles, and then we have to give active. It should be dev. So profile also we have to select a profile. I think default profile is selected as a default. So we have to again close it, and again run it because default profile we are not interested in the default profile. Now dev it's selected, and again it's running all this thing, and it's run. It's just started. Okay, let's go to there, and now it's running again. We can add one extra data, and we can validate it. Okay, now run one extra data, so we can write it random, or we can say demo, or we can say demo is not dev. So we can say it's mail, and okay, now let's add it. Post. Let me add this one extra data. Okay, now we are able to add, because you can see here now it's again started with one because it has created one another database. And now we can see we can add one more like arrays, and we can give 26. Okay, and we can give this one. Now we'll check all. Okay, yeah, we are able to see it. So that's all, guys. If you like my video, then you can like it and subscribe it. You can also put a comment so that we can think about which topic you wanna see next. Okay, that's all. Thank you, guys.